Well, g'day curd nerds. G'day curd nerds. Well, 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 g'day curd nerds. Welcome back. It's lovely to see you all again. This is episode Ask the Cheeseman, episode 362. Fantastic. Lovely to see so many people in the chat today. I think we've got 29 people watching live at the moment, but I'm sure we'll have some more again soon as they flood in from the interwebs. Alrighty, big shout out to all of the YouTube members and patrons. New YouTube members from the previous week. We've got Random McRanderson, nice one. Tanya Risco. We got Laz Unico, Ina, and Seven Light. Thank you all for your YouTube membership. Also, and to all the other YouTube members there. It was great to see Patricia back on the chat again today. She has been here. You can see her name is the very first one right over on the right hand side. So it's lovely to see you here again, Patricia, as always, as well as everybody else. Now, let's not forget the patrons. Thank you to all of the patrons on the screen, and the most recent one is Amy Franken, who is also in the chat today, which is fantastic. Okay, back to my head. There we are. Let's not forget that the gallery is at 30 minutes past the hour. We've got lots of entries in the gallery this week, which is fantastic to see. Lots of people sending in lots of photos, so that's going to be a good one. And don't forget that if you're in the mood to light up the room, you could do no better than do a super chat, and the curd nerd light will go off like a frog in a sock. So there you go. I'll just turn that one off. And all donations received graciously, of course. As for videos coming up, I do have I won't show the Trello board today. I'm currently writing the script, or nearly finished it actually, on pH and why it's important for cheese making. Now that I've got a pH meter, I thought, well, why not just share a little bit more knowledge that I've gained with the world. So that'll be coming up this week. So we will have a video this week. One of the reasons why we haven't had many videos of late, it's been a dark, cold winter, June, and I've had the seasonal blues, if that makes sense. Getting on with my day today, but not much extra. But yeah, that's starting to pick up again. I'm starting to feel a little bit more inspired, which is good. You know, no use making videos when you don't feel creative. But yeah, I'm starting to not have as many cheeses in the cheese fridge as I'd like, and I'd like to have some more. So why not start making some more cheese making videos? So that'll be good fun. Now, you notice I haven't slipped on the weekly live streams, of course, which is one of the things that cheers me up every single week to see and see in the chat all of your smiling faces, which I know are there. So that should be good fun. Alrighty, we got some questions coming in. I think the first one was way back when. I think Jeffrey had it. Says, when will you be doing another cheese video using the pH meter? Hanging out to use my new Hannah, yeah. pH meter still in the cupboard untouched. Like I said, Jeff, there is going to be a comprehensive pH video. Like I said, nearly finished the script, so I'll start recording that soon, putting all the B-roll in and all that sort of good stuff. So hang in there, it won't be very long at all. Next question is from Davo, and Davo says, how would I make a tea flavoured cheddar? Add a couple of cups at the beginning or soak the curds at the end. Okay, so how would we go about this? Probably best to soak the curds at the end, so after you've done the cheddaring process. So the tricky bit about this will be keeping it warm. So have a look for reference, Davo, at the stout cheddar video that I've got. Hang on, I'll bring it up. So you've got the link. Let's go to the second monitor. You want the stout cheddar. Hopefully it'll come up. There we go. How to make stout cheddar. That's a taste test. Right. So let's grab the share thing. And there we go. So just have a look at that recipe there, Davo, and use the same timings for the tea. Now with the tea, it'll have to be fairly strong. So probably soak the tea bags first in the water. Keep the water warm. Make sure it's quite strong, or you're not going to get much flavour or colour infusing into the curds. But definitely at the same time that I added the stout, add the tea instead, if that makes sense. And then you'll get a slight tea flavour. You may find that the tannins in the cheese may affect the aging. Not sure. Probably not. It should go okay. But just make sure during that soaking phase that the curds remain warm as they did during the cheddaring process. So hope that helps, mate. Okay. Next question is from Amy. Hello, Amy. Says, how is your back feeling? Well, pretty good actually. So I've been on, for those who don't know, long story short, had a back injury years and years ago, got chased by a three-legged goat, was carrying a bale of hay at the time, and got a bulging disc between L5-S1, and it took 2 years the first time to repair, and so far it's taken a year so far since it happened again. No cause, just woke up one morning, it was there. So yeah, so a bit of an issue. So I've been on medication this time, trying to lose weight to take the strain off the bulge in the back, and it's starting to feel a bit better. It could be the pregabalin, which I'm taking, which is a nerve blocker. But yeah, it's certainly feeling a lot better than what it was. I don't notice it so much during the day, which is a good thing. But when it does flare up, oh god, I tell you what, it makes me sad. Gives me a little bit of depression down at the dumps, but soon pick up once it goes away. So anyway, that's it. So great question, thanks, Amy. Next is from, I'm sure we had one there somewhere. Voice of Reason has a question. Says, hi Gavin, my cheese fridge is packed in without me realising it. It's mid-20s here in the UK. I only noticed today that my parmesan is blown. It's a month into the aging process. Is it okay? Yeah, so what I would do is get all the cheeses that you got on the cheese fridge, put them into the kitchen fridge. If the parmesan has like puffed up, then yeah, so you got some issues there. I probably wouldn't age that anymore. There's no way you could really save it. The only way you could really save it is probably grate it now and then store the parmesan in the freezer. There may be some slight taste if it is blown, because just a little bit too much activity at those higher temperatures. Any other cheeses, if they look okay in their vac packing or however you got them stored, put them into the kitchen fridge until you can get a replacement for the cheese fridge. And yeah, so this is one of the reasons why it's important to turn your cheeses once a week, because at least if something like that does happen, it's no more than a week that the cheeses are going to sit at a warmer temperature, which is not good for any cheese, really, those warmer temperatures, which we'll find out during the gallery, actually. But yeah, hopefully, Voice of Reason, you got that all under control. If the parmesan's aged a fair bit and it's fairly dry, then you should be okay grating it and putting it in the freezer, as I mentioned. Next question. Conand says, Southern Hemisphere seasons being reversed will never confuse me for a moment. Well, being a native of the Southern Hemisphere, it always confuses me when the seasons in the Northern Hemisphere are wrong. So, yeah, right back at you. A little bit of light commentary there. Anyway, Mike says, hopefully that's Mike's first question. Thanks, Mike. Does a higher fat content make the cheese creamier or wetter or something else? It makes the cheese... it makes it have a higher fat content. That kind of answers itself, this question. But yeah, so it will hold on to more moisture, the curds, when you cut them. You will find that they have a better mouthfeel, and high fatter cheeses usually tend to be fresher cheeses or mold ripened cheeses like Camembert Brie, that sort of thing. Stilton is a good example of a cheese with added cream that has a fantastic mouthfeel, either without the blue mold or with. But yeah, it's pretty cool. So I love making those higher fat cheeses. Like triple cream was just delightful. Little small high fat mold ripened cheese, which really did add an amazing flavour to it as it ripened near the end. So yeah, it's more about mouthfeel and texture than anything else. Creamier. And another good response by Mike, chased by a three-legged goat, only us old sailors can say that with a serious face. Indeed. And thanks, Herb, for the well wishes. Yeah, it is getting better, which is good. I was actually in the veggie patch yesterday planting out some pak choi, some wombok. So they were both Asian greens. So pak choi is a Chinese kind of version of spinach or silver beet. Kind of looks like it a bit. Small around the leaves, very tasty. Wombok or wonbok, however you want to pronounce it, is a Chinese cabbage, which is not so prone to white cabbage butterfly that we have here in Australia, probably all over the world. What else did I put in? I put in some silver fork, silver beet as well. We've been eating a lot of stir fries lately, which keeps, which is very good. Well, for me, it's very comforting, very good comfort food, and very light on the calories too. Lots of veg. Okay, moving right along. Dominic says, I was wanting to make cream lime milk by mixing skim milk with heavy cream. To my surprise, the cream in all of the markets in my area is ultra pasteurized. That won't work, will it? Probably not. The cream has to be pure cream that is just normal pasteurised, not ultra pasteurised. The reason it's ultra pasteurised is to keep it on the shelves longer. Yeah, so maybe not. The skim milk doesn't have doesn't have much casein, because a lot of the cream gets taken out. There's a fair bit of calcium in the cream too. Look, what I might do, I'll have to do. Let me just have a look. Let me just bring up my Trello board and have a look. I'm pretty sure I've got a video that I may be in the production. Let's have a quick look here. Where is it? Where is? Why do they redesign everything? Hang on, 2 seconds. Right, over to the second monitor. How do I get rid of this? I don't want to add a card. I want to do, it says it's visible to me. Yeah, it is. I don't want it there. Anyway, moving right along. Just go there. No. Oh, Gav, you've done that. You've stuffed. Oh, right. Get out of it. Right. Right, so what I was trying to do, sorry about that, it's crazy. Making good milk from skim milk. Let's pop that up to the top of the pre-production planning. Yeah, let's do that. So Dominic, we'll get that video up soon. We'll get that happening. So anyway, let's go back to main. Alrighty. Next question is from... Oh, it's from Liz. Hello, Liz. We've got lots of... I should say hello to more people. There's lots of people there in the chat. I sent a birthday parcel of Red Leicester, Lancashire, Camembert, Feta, Wensleydale, Orkney to a friend. She said her family did a blind tasting. The Orkney was favourite. That's fantastic. Liz, I wish I had access to raw milk. And thank you so much for the recipe that you sent through for the Orkney cheese. I've been struggling to find raw milk, and nobody will sell it to you. Legally, they're not allowed to anyway. Here in Victoria. So it's always a struggle. And I know that you mentioned that a lot of the flavour comes from the environment that you're in, and the native bacteria from the milk, and the milk gets from all the terroir. That's how you say it in French. Anyway, moving right along. But yeah, thank you so much for the recipe. Memmake has a question and says, I recently saw someone comment in a forum that they were patting their white mold down as it was produced on their camembert in order to get a thicker layer. Does this work? Yes, it does. If you're getting excessive white mold growth and you see the little fibres come up, and you see they grow little, I don't know the technical word, but little hairs, look like little hairs anyway, you can pat them down, and that will make a thicker layer of white mold. If you're into that sort of thing, I really don't go for thick layers of white mold. As long as the paste on the inside is oozy, that's really all I care about. So, mate, yeah, that will work, and you can do that. But make sure that once it gets a full coating of mold on it anyway, that's when it's time to wrap them in the white cheese wrap, the micro perforator paper, and put them into the kitchen fridge. You really got to slow down that that maturation phase, because if you don't slow it down by putting it at 4 degrees Celsius in the kitchen fridge, you're going to get a really oozy, almost watery camembert. And there's nothing, in my mind, there's nothing really worse than that. You want it oozy, not watery. And I learnt that the hard way the first time I made camembert as well. Anyway, Dale says g'day and says, this week's cheeses, St. Marcelin, first time using Geotrichum, excited for a taste test in a month. Indeed, Dale, it sounds like Geo is a great little, there's two schools of thought. They think it's a yeast or it's a penicillium-based mould. It does really work well, because what it does, prepares the surface of the cheese. It brings the pH back closer to neutral from an acid type caused by the starter cultures, which Penicillium Roqueforti really loves. It really loves a less acidic rind to develop and grow on. So that's why we marry the two together. The Geo will grow first and it'll feel a little bit tacky. And then once it's prepared the surface, the Penicillium Roqueforti spores kick in, go crazy, and then get the white coating all over. You'll see some cheeses that are made with just Geotrichum candidum, and they have that little wrinkly brain sort of effect on the outside of the cheese. Yeah, that always surprises me. It looks lovely, so tastes fantastic too. Liz says, same here, can't buy raw milk. I barter cheeses for churns of milk. Okay, yep. That's probably the best way to do it, I suppose. Oh, goodness me. Patricia says, do you suppose that made by cow milk would be a reasonable substitute for making a raw milk cheese at home? Would you consider trying to make Orkney with made by cow? Oh, Patricia, you're an ideas woman, honestly. Yes, indeed. Made by... Oh, goodness me. Why didn't I think of that? I'm such a dork sometimes. Yeah, so that's fantastic. Got a recipe, got everything else. Sounds like it's a fabulous cheese, I think, made by cow milk, which we can get here in Australia, which, for those who don't know, it's a cold-pressed pasteurisation style where they put the raw milk under pressure, still cold. They don't heat treat the milk anyway, but they use pressure similar to what they do with fruit juices these days. Put it in a hyperbaric chamber. Yeah, it's a pressure chamber that they put all the bottles of milk in after they've been bottled, and that kills all the bacteria by bursting their cell walls, but leave all the really good enzymes behind and some of the good bacteria that survive the process. So absolutely well done. Thank you, Patricia, for reminding me about that. And we can still get it. It's fairly still expensive. They came back from the dead, the company, which is great, and hopefully they're making a profit now and continue to produce that kind of milk up in New South Wales and ship it all over Australia. So yeah, it just tastes amazing too. I did a brand deal with them years ago. Hopefully that didn't send them broke, but I did a brand deal with them, and yeah, it was a really good cheese, and really good milk to make the cheese with. Where Many says, that's Cool Cat? How come your name didn't come up properly? I'm sure that's Cool Cat. No, not Cool Cat. Yeah, it could be. The monkey reminds me of somebody. Just popped into tickle the like button. Hope you've done that too. I wish La Garant Fromage, Gavin, g'day, and say hey, Curdneds for the rest of this time for bed. It is Cool Cat, yes. I don't know. Well, YouTube's messed up your name. There you go. There you go. Thanks. See, look, I could pick the picture. Mike has a question, I think. Says, I had a store that was carrying minimally pasteurised milk. It was working well, but no longer available. I'm back to regular store milk for tomorrow's adventure. Well, all the best, Mike. I hope that works for you, the new milk. Patricia says, I'm so envious of you Aussies having access to made by cow. I wish the rest of the civilised world would get on board with this method of treating milk. Yeah, I'm with you there, Patricia. It's a pity that other manufacturers haven't, or other dairy producers haven't adapted. It's probably pretty expensive compared to normal pasteurisation, but I tell you what, the end result, the flavour of the milk is second to none, and because it's also it's unhomogenised as well. It's not the milk's not homogenised, so it's cold pressed raw milk, unhomogenised. So you got the best of both worlds. It hasn't been heat treated, but it has been a type of pasteurisation, and the cream's still intact, so it hasn't been broken up into smaller globules. So as far as making cheese with it, it's just fantastic. So they have two, not wanting to wax lyrical too much about this milk, they have two versions. They have a herd of Jersey cows that they use, and they use a single herd source for that. So that is really high in fat, about 5 to 5.2%. And then they have a Friesian Holstein herd that they source milk from, and they make that separate, and that has a fat content of about 3.8, which is, you know, your normal dairy cow fat percentage. I think the prices are very similar. Maybe the Friesian Holstein's a little bit cheaper, but yeah, you're right there, Patricia. I should be using that milk a little bit more often, but I've been finding the milk I've been getting from the, for those in Victoria anyway, the Cheeseman dairy, which means farmer's milk, in Shepparton. You can get it in, would you believe, you can get it in Indian grocers. You can't get it in supermarkets here in Australia, as in like the big two, Coles and Woolies, but you can certainly get it in India. India seems to be an Indian grocer thing, and it's in a 5-litre bladder or 2-litre bottle of milk, and that pasteurised, unhomogenised milk is perfect for making cheese. I've had no issues with it whatsoever. So highly recommend those two types of milk. Anyway, moving right along. There doesn't seem to be any more questions in the chat. So let's say g'day to a few people I haven't said g'day to. We got a persnickety, g'day curd nerds, or in Texas, howdy curd nerds. We got Jose in the UK. G'day, Jose. Love to see you, mate. We got Merv as well. G'day, Merv. I don't know how I missed you, mate. Sorry about that. Who else we got there? And that I haven't said g'day to yet. We got, is that George? I think that's how you pronounce it. G'day, George. How are you, mate? And that's about it. But there's, how many people are watching? 41 people. My goodness. That's magnificent. Very cool. All right, so what we'll do is we'll kick off the, I know it's 4 minutes before the gallery, but yeah, we'll kick that off, and because there's lots of photos there and quite a lot of emails to get through as well. But before we do, I had this weird, I don't know if this is, I don't know, I know the guy, but I had this weird email. Where is it? From Robert Albers. He said, sent me an email. Says YouTube obituary ? When I entered Gavin's name into YouTube this morning, I was faced with selections concerning Gavin's obituary. Is he still among us? Well, proof in the pudding. I'm live today. Cheeseman.tv. Yeah, so I was a bit shocked with that there's rumours going around of my demise. So no, I'm still here, alive and kicking. Last doctor's checkup, I'm a fight and fit young individual, although 61. But I was a bit surprised that people think I was dead. So I'm not. I'm here. Anyway, moving right along. Let's get into the gallery. Right here. Sorry. Oh, bloody hell. Right. The first one is from Costanza, and sorry, I should have said that the gallery is brought to you by you, the Curd Nerds, and you send all the photos in, and I'll show you how to do that at the end of the gallery. Okay, first one is from Costanzo and says Contanzo. I'll get it right in a minute. Gavin, this is my Jarlsberg. It cracked after 2 days at room temperature of 25 degrees Celsius. Will it be okay for the 2 weeks, or is there something else I could do? With the eyes form in this weather, the weather is cooler than 21 degrees Celsius. I hope you catch. Thank you. Hope to catch the live stream. And you have. Now, so the problem is at that temperature, I know you're trying to air dry it, but at those temperatures, way too high. And what will happen is, because the rind dries too quickly and the internals are too moist, it tends to expand in those temperatures, and you'll get this cracking. And I think there's a better picture here. Here, there it is. Nice big fissure in the middle, and you'll see that the outsides have dried way too fast. Best thing to do, and this is not a disaster. This can be totally fixed. So what you need to do is, and it's dry enough. It's certainly dry. I would now wax this, or I wouldn't vacuum pack it. I'd wax it for sure. Even if wax got into the cracks, no big deal, right? So you need to protect the rind of the cheese, because if you're going to go through it's got to go through a cold phase first. So what you should have done, if your kitchen is warmer and it doesn't tend to be too, and you're having trouble air drying, and this will happen, you really need to pop your cheese to air dry into the cheese cave at 13 degrees Celsius. It'll stop the insides from expanding and the rind from going too dry. You'll have increased humidity. So in a ripening box, in the cheese fridge at 13 degrees Celsius is the best thing to do to prevent this from happening. So like I said, this can be safe. So wax the cheese, and you shouldn't have any problems continuing on. It should go into its cold phase now. Then it'll have a 2-week warm phase. It's between 16 and 18. Wouldn't go any higher than that, because you're going to get rapid expansion because of the Propionyx germani, which loves warm temperatures. If it goes too high, then all you're going to get is a big bubble in the middle and a rind on the outside, and that'll be good for nobody. So I hope that helps. So Costanzo has some more photos. This is he's got a new setup, and we'll have a look at that in a second. But he's made, this one's looks like a pepper jack, and that's got a fairly dry rind as well. Hopefully got that in a ripening box now. Let me just go through what he's written here. This is my new setup. So where's the setup? Let's have a look. Here it is here. So this is cool. I'll read this little story. It says, I have back pain, ditto, that I cannot stand for more than 5 to 10 minutes, and it's difficult to stir the curds. So I stopped making cheese until one day, playing with the grandkids, I found that the way to do the cheese again with I found a way to do the cheese again with a small table and chair. I was able to do the cheese, and it felt good after 8 months. This is my first cheese. I made Gorgonzola, and we'll have a look at that in a minute. But let's have a look at this. So what he's got a little table there. It doesn't have to stand at the sink. He's got his precision cooker in a big bucket. He's got his pot with his thermometer and the milk in there, and a little chair to sit there, and you can stir. And not have to stand the whole time. So look, needs must. That's just what you need to do to make your cheese. It'd be terrible if you couldn't make cheese because of a disability. Especially, the same here with me. I actually had to take a break from making cheese. But yeah, so this is absolutely the way to go to make cheese if you have some issues. Just bring it down lower so you can sit. But perfect situation, Costanzo. You've done a great job there. Anyway, let's have a look at these cheeses. He said he made first cheese was the Gorgonzola. There's the outside of it there. And there's the inside. And doesn't that look spectacular? It's got a nice creamy paste, no chalkiness at all. A little bit of white rind on the outside, but you got a lovely blue veining on the inside. So you've absolutely cracked that one, which is fantastic. And I said that the cheese bug got me again, and I made a Monterey Jack spicy from your book, which is this one, the Pepper Jack. That'll be ready in 3 months. Made a Jarlsberg, which is that one, which we've seen is probably that one now, with the crack in it. Okay, and you know how to fix that, so that's good. So made your Jarlsberg in a ripening, which is now in the ripening box. I hope that this setup could help other curd nerds. Thank you for all of your knowledge. Keep well, please. My cheese cave will not be empty again. Regards, Costanzo. Thank you very much, mate. Appreciate it. And that is a great little setup for those who can't stand. So yeah, very good. Okay, the next photo is from Jill, and Jill sent me a very short email and said, "Hi Gavin, looking forward to your podcast in the morning." Yeah, I suppose it's a bit of a podcast. Hopefully this is the correct email address to share a couple of cheese photos. The first is a Havarti with dill, and that is a very nice looking Havarti with dill. Little minimal mechanical holes there, but no big deal. I bet it tasted amazing too, Jill. The next is a Tassie Devil. I love the purple. Well, it's a crimson, yeah, let's say crimson. The crimson colour you get from Tasmanian pepper berries, which is really, really nice. Has a really unique flavour. If anybody's had, let me think of an example, what it kind of tastes like. If anybody's had Szechuan pepper in Kung Pao chicken that kind of numbs your tongue and has a peppery flavour to it, the Tasmanian pepperberry is similar, but it's not the same plant. It is a really unique flavour, and I was very impressed with the Tassie Devil that I made. So Jill, this looks fantastic, so congratulations on a good looking cheese. The next one is your Gouda, and she's used a round mould, not a round mould, a curved mould, so hopefully, and it looks like it's got could be paracoat and wax, which is a good thing. So that'll help the cheese expand if it needs to. Hopefully it won't. And I'm not sure where Jill is, but here in the southern hemisphere at the moment, now that it's cold and wet, you'll probably see that if you try to make low acid cheeses like the continental ones, or the ones from the Netherlands anyway, like Edam and Gouda, Marsden, Leerdama, those sort of washed curd cheeses, if the cows may have been fed on silage, which is a fermented grass that farmers use in the winter when there's not enough grass growing in the pastures, what can happen is you'll get late blowing. And it's the butyric spores. There's a fungal spore that can be in the milk from silage that the cows are fed, or the cows or goats or what have you. And yeah, it can cause late blowing. So just be aware, if you're in the southern hemisphere and it's cold and the grass isn't growing very fast and the cows still need to eat, usually they're fed either hay that's been saved over from the summer, or silage, which is a wet feed, a fermented grass, which have these butyric spores in it, which cause butyric acid to grow in the cheese and creates a cosmetic defect known as late blowing. And if you don't know anything about late blowing, then you will see, have a look at last week's episode, Ask the Cheeseman, and I talk all about late blowing and early blowing and all that sort of stuff. Anyway, so there's Jill's Gouda, and it looks fantastic, so well done. All right, so the next entrant in the gallery of galleries is from Persnickety. And Persnickety says, "Howdy, Gav. No cheese making this weekend of the 21st. Was going to make a chowder, but the pH of my brine was off. The palm featured on your 21st of June stream developed many small cracks and fissures from the brine being too acidic. This was after 8 hours in the solution, so ended up dry rubbing it with coarse salt and vacuum packing it immediately earlier in the week. Today was bag maintenance on it. Got another dry rub and a new bag. As you stated, never reuse the bags. I do have a parameter in order to help sort out the pH in my brines and curd masses." Oh, good. For the photos, the first is a marbled cheddar crafted in March 25. Though young at 3 months, the flavour and some flakiness was there, which will compound as the rest of it ages. Half has mostly sold already. This was also nicely knitted cheese with some small mechanical holes, but as I've had issues with knitting in the past, pressing underway, then 100 pounds of pressures at 25 hours finish pressing helps a lot with consolidating the heavy cheeses. It's still very important to monitor the expressed whey colour and condition to help the milk fat loss, to help minimise the milk fat loss. And that is absolutely true. So, yeah, that big cheese is more weight. The next photo from Persnickety says, next is a new cheese fridge, a freezerless fridge air from a Home Depot. There's a small humidifier in the bottom, and I keep the water packs inside the heap, help with temperature regulation until it houses more cheese. Also, Queso Grande is big cheese, my heavies. Right, okay, now I understand from last week. And you can see these big cheeses here, these up the top, they're, what does he say, 8 pounds, which is about 4 kilograms. And I think that one's 10 pounds, which is about 5 kilograms. So they're big, big, big cheeses. And yeah, having the water in there is good because fridges work better when they're full, if that makes sense. So yeah, the temperature regulation will be a lot. And I can see there's his brine there. And he's also got a humidifier if he needs it for natural mould ripened cheeses. Okay, so moving on, there's another, and this is, lastly, some of the new containers from Amazon, square, 12 quart, which is about 12 litres roughly, 10, 11 and a half litres roughly. They're perfect size for air drying, aging mats, fit in cleanly into the square. Since my heavies tend to be at least 6 inches high, there needs to be adequate headroom for air circulation. So yeah, absolutely perfect for creating a natural rind if you're going to do that, or air drying or what have you, and keeping the mould out. It goes on to say, have a wonderful week going forward. I look forward to catching another stream after the fact, unless I can wake up early. I think Persnickety's in the chat. Yeah, indeed. Good on you, mate. Unless I can wake up early to catch the live. Also look forward to the gardening video. Yes, so do I. Slowly but surely. And Persnickety says in the chat, yep, it gives a good perspective against the gallon of distilled water. Let's just, yeah, there it is there. So it's a big cheese, and that's 4 litres for those in metric land of the distilled water, so that's a gallon. So that's a big cheese. Indeed it is. Alrighty. Next entry is from Richard. And Richard was in the chat last week. I haven't seen him in the chat this week. He says, hi, Gavin. Greetings from Canada. I wanted to say a big thank you. I watched over 100 of your videos on YouTube, and you've been a huge inspiration for my cheese making journey. Thanks, mate. I've even created a YouTube username to share my progress. It's at Richmont Cheese. Hopefully got a channel there somewhere, Richard. That'd be cool. Thank you for featuring my cheese image on your last live show last week. I noticed the image didn't come through on the broadcast, so I've attached it here in case you'd still like to have a look at it. Indeed. I started making cheese during COVID lockdowns after stumbling upon your videos, and I've been hooked ever since. Right now, I've got 7 cheeses aging in the cheese cave, aka wine fridge. It's got Dill Havarti. Okay, so that could be that one there. We got Gouda and Oka, and sorry, not Gouda, Gruyere, Oka, Blue Stilton, which is probably this one here. We've got cheddar, Gouda, and Parmesan. So that doesn't show. I'm not sure, but I've just guessed for these ones. It says up next is Swiss and Asiago. I also regularly make brie, as shown by this nice medium steak with brie all over the top of it. So that looks really cool. And there's a camembert style there, I think. So I make brie, mozzarella, cream cheese, Boursin, and squeaky cheese curds for poutine. My long-term goal is to open a small cheese shop in Japan with my wife when we retire there in the next few years. To prepare, we're planning to take all the cheese-making courses offered at the University of Guelph, that's spelled Guelph, to build confidence and deepen our skills. We get all our supplies from Glengarry Cheesemaking near Ottawa. Margaret there has been incredible. She's answered countless questions and helped us figure out exactly which cultures we need. Thank you again for all the knowledge, passion, and generosity you bring to the cheesemaking community. You've truly made a difference. Warm regards, Richard. Thank you, Richard. So on with more of Richard's photos. So we've got a camembert there on a cheese board, so it looks fabulous. We got some caprese salad of sorts there with some homemade mozzarella. Looks like some balsamic vinegar, basil leaves, and some lovely tomato, and some olive oil drizzled over the top. That's just making my mouth water. That would be beautiful for breakfast. So yeah, absolutely looks fantastic. So well done. Patricia's mentioned that Guelph is pronounced Guelph. Okay. Thank you, Patricia. I didn't really know how to say it. I just guessed, so I was close. Anyway, the caprese salad. Look at that. That's absolutely fantastic. The next photo from Richard, I think this is a cheddar that he's made. He said he made cheddar. So, yeah, it looks cheddarish to me. There is the squeaky cheese curds. So good job there. And there's some homemade pizza with mozzarella on top, and it looks like some strips of maybe pepperoni or something there with some basil, maybe oregano. But yeah, it looks fabulous. Nice looking cheese and pizza. And there's poutine. For those who have never tried it before, highly recommend it. It's cheese curds on top of French fries or chips, hot chips here in Australia, and a nice thick brown gravy all over the top. It's just really good comfort food, and the cheese curds taste lovely as well. They're warm as well. So yeah, really nice. It is a very good comfort food, and congratulations to the Canadians for inventing it. Well, I think they invented it, but yeah, it seems to be like the national dish over there. But yeah, fabulous, fabulous cheese. Do we have another? There's a lucky last photo. This is Richard's Boursin. So he's made, it looks like a herb and garlic Boursin. Probably using my recipe, I would expect. But yeah, good looking cheese, and it's a lovely, delicious, light cream cheese that is very flavoursome, and yeah, you got to eat it fairly quick. It doesn't store very well, and it tastes lovely, very moist as well. So very good. So that is the gallery, Curd Nerds. So thank you to everybody who sent in photos of your cheeses. So how do you send in photos? Well, let me show you. all we do is go to the channel page over here. So you're on it already, but yeah, go to the main page, and over here, YouTube had changed the way. You used to have an About tab. We don't have that anymore. You go, want to become a Kurd? Now just click here where it says More, and you get this little pop-up box action going. And yeah, description. I love that. And then down here, view email address. So that's the email address. You click on that. I won't do it right now. The email address where you send all of your photos, emails, all that sort of stuff. If the email's long, then I may not get chance to reply to it. But if you put a photo with the email, then yeah, it'll get included in the gallery. So send through your photos, whether they're an issue you're having and you're not quite sure how to fix it. I'll try my best to give you a remedy on how to fix that up. But absolutely send in photos to the gallery. I really enjoy showing them, and I can tell that the Kurd Nerd community really enjoys the gallery part of the show. So yeah, thanks for sending those in, those who have sent them in this week. Okay, Patricia says that she's very proud of the of our poutine with a little Canada flag there. Very nice. Merv has said, "Hi Gav, have not made cheese for some time as the main fridge stopped cooling, so had to take over the cheese cave and move the cheese to a small wine fridge. So I've rented a room, but I now have to fix the main fridge." Yeah, indeed, Merv. Fridges you can usually get pretty cheap second-hand fridges that are worth turning into a cheese fridge with an external thermostat. So if you have an issue, just go on to what's the best place, Gumtree or eBay or what have you. You can always pick up a second-hand fridge that using an external thermostat like the Inkbird 308 are so easy to convert into a cheese fridge. But yeah, best of luck, Merv. Hope that all gets fixed soon and you get into that. Nothing worse than having there's nothing better than having a full cheese fridge, but yeah, not having enough room to make more cheeses, that's the main issue, right? Alrighty, I think there's been some questions come in during the chat, during the gallery. Patricia says, sitting while stirring the curds is an excellent approach, with or without back pain. I often pull a tall bar stool over to the kitchen sink to stir curds. Indeed, and that is a good practice. I now, when I make cheese, I've just got a kitchen chair and I just sit at that and then stir the curds that way. If I'm having too much trouble, I'll use the stir mate, but that seems to clump up the curds down the bottom sometimes. And I've done a full video on the stir mate, on what my thoughts were on that device for making cheese. But yeah, stirring for a long time, it's best to sit down so your legs don't hurt. Persnickety says, true, I stand at work for 8 hours, so being able to sit while stirring curds has an appeal. Yeah, give it a go, for sure. Amy says, is there any way you can tell us your email address today? I cannot locate it for some reason on the YouTube page. Maybe it's because I'm not a member. Hopefully you've seen that, Amy. Let me know if you found the email address. Yeah, so that would be good. Medmate says, inspired after seeing it on your show. We lived in the great southern region of Western Australia where it is cool and wet. Just offered and received 3 Tasmanian pepperberry plants to try to grow. Hopefully the weather's cool enough, or the climate's cool enough there, Medmates, because I know that it has trouble growing on the mainland because it needs to be cooler more often than not, if that makes sense. It's definitely a cool weather plant, the Tasmanian pepperberry. I think its real name true name is Tasmanian mountain pepperberry, and you can imagine how cold it is there. So, Mike says, do you have any beautiful nerds using turmeric to add colour and flavour? When did you add it? Okay, so I've never added turmeric to any of my cheeses because it tends to acidify the milk more than you kind of want. It's going to throw your pH off on the make. So that is an issue, Mike. But what you could try to do, and if you don't want to use annatto in your milk, which is perfectly fine. Annatto, there's no issue. It doesn't add any flavour. It only adds colour. You could rub turmeric, the powdered stuff anyway, all over the rind of the cheese, similar to like I do with smoked paprika. So that could be an option if you are trying to get some colour on the rind other than just the normal milk colour. Try some turmeric and rub it with a little bit of olive oil, make a paste, and then smear it all over the outside of the cheese. I think turmeric also has an antibacterial effect too, so that could be good at keeping away any unwanted bacteria. Probably won't keep any molds away, but if you do it more often than not, then yeah, that'll be a good idea. Anyway, so you give that a try anyway. There was another question from Patricia. Says, do you wondering if there's anything new, wonderful and exotic in your retail shop? Good question. Thank you for the prompt. Let's have a quick look at the store. So the store run by me and Kim, littlegreenworkshops.com.au is where we go, and cheese making supplies, of course, is my bag, baby, and Kim's is all the rest. So anything new? Let me just think. What have I got in the cheese making equipment? I did put something new in there the other day. The new thing, I need to fix. I got everything new. Oh, I'm a dag. The little cheese flags have been very popular. So these are like toothpick markers with little flags on them, and people have been writing their cheese names, and when they serve up their cheese, that's always cute, and they're only $5.50 including GST, and the white ones are a little bit more expensive, so they're cool. So that's something new there. What was the other thing that was new? The cheese trier, I managed to get some more in stock. Had to import them from the US. And yeah, they're a great gift. If you've got somebody who loves cheese, then absolutely go and check out the cheese trier. There it is in all its glory. So stainless steel, absolutely, and it's a handcrafted piece, which is beautiful. So yeah, it's a cheese trier or cheese iron, whatever you want to call it. There it is. There is in action. So yeah, that's always cool. And the other thing that was new, there was a trivet that I've been using lately in the equipment, mini measuring spoons. Where's the trivet gone? There it is. So the stainless steel trivet, when you're using a precision cooker, I have found that you need the water circulation underneath. So absolutely, if you haven't got a trivet, go and get one. I've got one here. It's stainless steel, doesn't rust. So it can sit in the water bath under the pot, lets the water circulate underneath, so you've got constant temperature all the way through your milk using the water bath. So absolutely has worked a treat for me using this stainless steel trivet, and we've got some for sale, which is absolutely fantastic. Thank you, Patricia, for giving me the prompt. I don't do that very often. I probably should, because the retail store is what supports the show the most, besides your kind memberships and patronage. So yeah, so that is absolutely the best way to support us. That's where we make the most money, is in the retail store. So if you're in the need for cheese making equipment, kits, supplies, all of the consumables, then we've got them at littlegreenworkshops.com.au, and we ship all over the world. So we've had lots of would you believe, a big rush of orders from New Zealand. New Zealand seem to be one of the biggest international, I know because it's a lot cheaper for postage, but we've had a lot of New Zealand orders lately, which is great because I've actually just started advertising on Google search to New Zealand as well, expanded that out, and they seem to be very responsive. But yeah, no problems with any other countries unless they're on the UN sanctions list, and unfortunately we can't send to them. Good Luck Duck says, I've heard Gavin mention as the Gandalf of the cheese world. Oh, have you? That's the first I've heard of it. Something like curds, no curds shall pass, although through this cheesecloth. I'm a big fan. Thank you, Good Luck Duck. That's funny. I've never heard myself mentioned as Gandalf of the cheese world. I've actually heard myself, lots of comments in some of the videos, the Bob Ross of cheese, so of the cheese makers. So take that with what you will, and make that what you will. But yeah, so yeah, Bob Ross. Fair enough. Anyway, I think that's what time is it? Oh goodness me! Yeah, we're going to run over time if I keep waffling. But thank you so much, everybody. I've really enjoyed your company today. Please join me again next week. Excuse me, for another version of Ask the Cheeseman, another episode. Let's not forget the merch, of course. If you're in the market, well, let's see if I can get that to focus. Talk curdy to me. This is a very well-used cup, and it's starting to fade. I've had this for about 3 years, and as I use the dishwasher, some of the writing fades a little bit, but yeah, I like it. Talk curdy to me. So you can get that over at, what did I say? merch.cheeseman.tv. You can go and pick up your merch. I got lots of t-shirts, aprons, mugs like this one to drink your coffee in, or tea, or what have you, or your milk, curds, what have you. And as I mentioned before, don't forget you can pick up your supplies over at littlegreenworkshops.com.au. So thanks, Curd Nerds, for watching this week. Once again, it's been a pleasure to present to you, and don't forget to send in those photos for the gallery. Okay, and yeah, all right, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.